have the ability to create anything in 24 hours or less. And I did this just this past Sunday. And it only took me about 3 hours to manifest something. And I'm going to explain to you what I did, how I did it, and how you can do it as well. It's a very simple process, and it's extremely powerful. Now, I, on Sunday, laid down midway through the day. Early afternoon. It was probably between around 11 or so. I laid down and I got a surprise when I got up. I got woken up actually. And to not the surprise of me, I was greeted with watermelon. A watermelon. This is not just any watermelon though. This is what I manifested. Now some of you might be thinking like, it's just a watermelon. Whew, I can go anywhere and get a watermelon. This is not just a watermelon. You have to understand how rare this watermelon is where we are. And this is going to show you how powerful this manifestation technique is that you can use. I haven't had a seeded watermelon since I was in Phoenix, which was 7 solar cycles ago, 7 years ago. And the only time I had it then was when I decided I wanted one and I manifested it all the way back then. I manifested many different fruits, many different tropical fruits. When I was in Phoenix, I manifested, which watermelon isn't tropical, but a seeded watermelon is just as rare as tropical fruit. And I manifested all kinds of different fruits because I was eating only fruit at that point. So I was, one, highly energized based on the fruit and the energy that it provides. Plus, I was enjoying all of the different tropical fruits, and I wanted to try as many as I could. So I would actually have them come to the grocery store so that I could get them and try them. And I did that with watermelon once. I did that with seeded grapes at a point. Did that with papaya. Dragon fruit, I had found, let me preference this, everything is organic too. That's one of these differences. I don't eat non-organic fruit because it tastes garbage. Not that organic's the best, but it is miles better than conventional fruit. And all of these tropical fruits I'm naming, they're all organic. Good luck finding organic dragon fruit. Finding an organic seeded watermelon, that was the only time I seen one in a grocery store. I see non-organic ones from time to time, conventional ones, usually during the season that they're actually growing. They'll say non-GMO, but if you cut them open, they don't really have seeds still because of how they're grown. They're not allowed to fully mature still. So I decided, which I haven't had since I was in Phoenix, I want a seeded watermelon because seedless watermelon doesn't taste the same. It's not as sweet, it's not as red, and it's not as juicy. It's not as good. Having the seeds in it completely changes how the watermelon grows, and it's so much more delicious. But it wants to be because it wants to spread its seed. So it wants you to cut it open or break it so that the seeds can be spread all over. The ones that don't have seeds, they have nothing to spread. They're not going to keep growing. So does it really matter to them how enjoyable it is? That's how you have to think of fruits. They want to grow. So it wants to be as enjoyable as possible for you and everything else. And I decided on Sunday that I was going to manifest something that was going to be seemingly impossible. I haven't had this in 7 years. I have not seen one in the grocery store, and I look at them. I've never actually looked to manifest one until just last Sunday. And there's never any at the stores. So I decided after I ate, Nikki and the children went to the grocery store, that I was gonna get a seeded watermelon. I went and laid down, and I focused my attention on eating a seeded watermelon sitting at my desk, which is exactly what I ended up doing. I cut off the end of the watermelon and I ate it. That's how I eat watermelon usually. This is too long, so I wouldn't cut it in half and eat it, but I would cut off the end and I would eat it as if it's a bowl. And I spit out the seeds. Then I go throw them in the yard. So I went through this technique, and at some point I end up resting. I'm laying there, my body's healing, my mind's doing other things. I get woken up. Nikki tells me, guess what? They had seeded watermelon. I said, oh, they did. I said, you don't know what I did. Because she didn't. She had no idea. So I told her that I manifested that is from me. And that was within a matter of 3 hours, maybe? And they had, 3 different types of watermelon that were seeded? 4 different brands. 4 different brands of watermelon that were seeded even. So they're getting it from all these different places all of a sudden. And we go to Whole Foods at least once every 7 suns. At least at once a quarter moon, if not twice. So we were just here probably the Tuesday before. They didn't have seeded watermelon. Less than a week later, it's there. 4 different brands. Obviously no coincidence, because I did it. I manifested it, I created it, and I brought it into my existence because I wanted to enjoy a watermelon. And I did this with this extremely powerful technique, which this is all you need. Anything else I'm talking about in these videos is all additives to this. Everything else is all things that you can do to build up around this technique, which this is the main technique that Neville Goddard focuses on as well, as many other spiritual teachers, influencers, gurus, as some would call them. Mystics is what I would say. And all you need to do is get uncomfortable when you lay down. And this is the part that I focus on that most others aren't going to fully focus on as much as I do. One of the problems that I find that people have when they go to lay down and focus on a vision and a feeling state, bringing themselves into that environment and bringing their senses into it one by one, all of them into that environment for whatever the experience is, and fully immersing yourself in it, then going about whatever it is you're looking to manifest. I find people have a hard time focusing on that fully due to them being too comfortable. They're used to just drifting off. And if you are putting yourself into a position to where you're programmed to just going to so-called sleep, well, you're going to go to sleep because this is repetition. So if we want to break that cycle, the quickest way to do it is to change where you're resting, how you're resting, and the purpose of why you're resting. First, we need to lay down with a purpose of I'm going to create this feeling and I'm going to exist within it as I flow off into a dream state. And if you don't start with that purpose, you're already setting yourself up to just drift off to sleep. So first, we got to have that in mind. We got to have in mind what we are doing. That's the first thing in creation. What are you doing? Have that in mind. So even before you start this technique, have in mind what you are going to do, because that is going to create that environment for you to actually create in. You're creating the space for you to truly create in. And the other thing that you're going to want to do is lay somewhere else maybe. Lay in an uncomfortable position or a different position. What I find the best place to lay is, position-wise, is on your back and cross your arms. Or on your, down on your pelvic, you can do some different hand motions. If you want to do some different mudras, you can boost your power. I'm not going to get into that here though. But hold your arms across your body as if you are in a coffin. There's a reason that Dracula goes and rests in a coffin. There's a reason the pharaohs go in a sarcophagus with their arms crossed around them holding what they're holding. This has to do with creation. This has to do with manifestation. There's a reason that they're put in the pyramid, the temple. There's a reason for all of this. These words are not there by mistake. These symbols, this imagery is all showing you something. Which if you want to know more about that, join my Patreon. I will make content regarding all of this if you want me to. It'll be for whatever you choose. You choose it to be. I'm going to keep focusing on this manifestation technique in this video. So you want to get into a position that you find uncomfortable, and that is what I find the ideal position, just in general, to manifest in. The next thing you want to do is lay down somewhere where you usually don't lay down. If you usually lay down in a bed, lay on the floor, maybe on the couch. Go maybe outside, bring a blanket out, lay in the grass. I would recommend lay on the floor. Lay a yoga mat down, lay a blanket down, lay on that. If you usually cover yourself, don't cover yourself. Because covering yourself is going to put you in that comfort state. And you want to be able to keep your mind focused. Which everything I'm mentioning here also has to do with out-of-body experiences and astral projection, because those two things all relate to this. It's really all the same thing. And once you do those three things, now you're ready to actually create that feeling state. Create that environment for you to bring all of your senses in and exist within. That's what I did. I imagined, visualized, projected myself, and then expelled it of me eating watermelon. I did the whole process. I cut off the watermelon, end of the watermelon. I got a spoon. I grabbed the end of the watermelon. I take it out of the kitchen. I go into I go to my desk in the office, I sit down, and I start eating it. And I have a bowl that I'm spitting the seeds in. And I'm feeling all of this through all of my senses, the taste, the smell. I can touch it. It's juicy. It's squirting all everywhere. It's getting on my monitors. It's getting on my desk. I have to clean it up after. But that's okay, because I'm creating the feeling. And I'm inhabiting it to the point to where that's all that I'm doing. And then you hold on to that and expel it. Just let it go. Once you have it, it's orgasmic. Just let it go. And then rest. And as you're going to rest, you focusing on that, it's going to inhabit your subconscious. It's going to infect your subconscious. And it's going to program it. And if you do this with the detail that I am explaining, you will manifest within 24 hours or less. Absolutely. Now, this is also contingent on what you believe is possible. You have to dispel belief with all of this, because anything's possible. You can do anything. The only thing that's holding you back is you choosing to do it. You have the ability. You just have to choose to do it. Just as I did with this watermelon, to prove to you that you could do it too. Because anything I can do, you can absolutely do. Because I am just a reflection of you. I hope you enjoyed this story and you made it to the end of this video, because now you are going to be able to manifest anything that you want in 24 hours or less. Fast as you want. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so that you can get alerted when I upload my next video, which will be on fasting. Just to give you a sneak preview and how that will supercharge your creations. Jumpstart them. Everyone, have a wonderful day. Go get some fresh air. Go watch the sunset. It's beautiful. The sun is blazing. Go watch it.